Welcome to another episode of Dental Flicks Uncut, and we have an incredible guest on today, DeVon Banks. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Let's kick this off, and you can tell our listeners and our audience who you are and how you help the industry.
So again, I'm DeVon Banks. I manage and own a medical and dental billing company based out right outside of Washington, D.C. We service clients all over the country, and we mostly provide revenue cycle management services, meaning we are the ones who make sure that the dentist gets paid for all of the wonderful production that they get on their books.
So you are so well loved in the industry. I'm imagining already. Everyone loves you. Everyone wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Devon, I've known you for many years, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you are within our coaching program. You are our insurance coach.
Yes.
So many of our coaching clients use your company for billing and all of the things. And it's not just about the service.
Sure.
It's about who you are, right?
Yeah.
Like you're the person that at the end of the call is saying, insurance coordinators don't suffer in silence. Like, here's my
Sure.
information. Reach out to me.
Sure.
I got you, right?
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
and I
Yeah.
hear that, right? So this is called Dental Flicks Uncut.
Yeah. Let's
Um, so if it's okay, I'd like to
dig
go
in.
a little deeper
Sure.
and hear, because I don't know this.
Right.
Like, what is your story? Like,
Hmm.
what made you decide that you were going to create this business? Because there's always a story of why we decide.
Yeah.
Like,
Y-
so what is that for you?
So let's back all the way up to the beginning, right? So I got into this industry because I grew up in a dental home. My dad and mom owned a dental laboratory together. So my original, entree into the industry as a teenager, probably not even old enough to legally work, was in a lab, right? So this is before, CIRAC and all the things. It was old school, traditional crown and bridge, dentures, partials, implants were just starting to come into the scene. So did that for a little bit, like I said, high school, a little bit right after. And then I transitioned, hard working with your family, right? So I decided there couldn't be two bosses at the lab, me and my dad. So left there, went to start working in a clinical environment as a dental assistant. Transitioned through all of the different roles in the practice, went from clinical assistant and then into front office and then office manager. And then at the ripe age of 23, Dentrix recruited me to become a certified trainer. So that's when I really started my company, right? And got going and got out of an office and into the real world. Single mom, just no idea what I was doing, just trying to make ends meet. And I'm one of those people that says, why not to pretty much anything. So why not? Oh, become a Dentrix trainer. Why not? Right. And so I did that for a little bit and started realizing that the offices needed so much more support. I gave them the Dentrix training, but they just really still didn't have a handle on the practice management aspect, definitely not the AR. And keep in mind, this was back when there was no electronic claims. There was no digital x-ray. There was no any of that. This was all paper systems. And so, and again, I'm young. I'm 23 at the time, 24, maybe 25. And as is still the case, young people embrace technology. So there was a time when I think I was representing 10 different software systems for sales and training. I was like, anything that there was being sold that was technology related, I wanted to be in the mix. I wanted to know all the things. I wanted to train on all the things. We also started doing just transitioning offices from paper to digital systems. So I did a lot of data entry of paper charts, getting them into the computer, and so that they were able to operate paper minimal, we like to say, because there's no such thing as paperless. So I did that for a while. Also, still hearing these little a little gnat spinning around my ear about the AR, the AR. That was always the thing. Couldn't get paid. Claims are bouncing back, things of that nature. So I'm also one of these people where if I see there's a need for something, I'll fill it, right? So I was like, okay, well, yeah, why not, right? Okay, I'll do that. This was also again during a technology was just coming on board. So in the very beginning, all of my clients were local because there was no remote access to anything. I had to drive all the way there, right? And then to stay for a whole day, post all their payments, submit all their claims, and do all the things. And then I had a Monday person. Matter of fact, Dr. C, Dr. Holmes her dad was my Monday person. For years, we didn't have remote access to their software. I had a Monday person, I had a Tuesday doc, I had a Wednesday doc, and I just jumped around from day to day. And it was very old school, very antiquated. And that's kind of how I got started. And then thank God technology took off and it gave me the ability to access clients in other areas. I didn't have to drive everywhere. So I was able to be more efficient in my day, get more done, not sit in traffic, maximize my time. But over the years, and even more so since COVID, it's really been a lot more difficult to get paid. This is definitely a different time we're living in terms of reimbursements. Insurance companies, keep in mind, they have access to more technology also. So they're using their technology against us, to audit more and to require more documentation and things of that nature. So it is more difficult for the average, office manager or front office person to get paid for their claims. We struggled through a lot of it. We thank God we have a team that we can bounce things off each other. I liaison with other billing company owners. We're in a fight. We have to do whatever we can to keep up with what's going on, learn as much as possible, and then distribute that information as much as possible. And that's why I like working with Delivering Wow, because I get to do that in that capacity. So yeah, it's a lot going on right now. We're struggling through, getting things reimbursed. Reimbursements have just dropped off over the years. We're not the patients aren't getting as much benefit as they used to get. Everything's just made more difficult for the average practitioner to get paid. So that frustrates me, right? Because I know how much money these insurance companies make. I know that these CEOs are multi-million, multi-billion dollar guys and one or two gals, right? So, and I feel the burden that these dental offices have. I'm also a small business owner, so I relate to these docs. They're small business owners. I'm a small business owner. It's hard. We're just trying to, pay our bills and feed our families and, make a life for ourselves. So they're the little guy. They don't have a lot of, advocacy. And I feel like that's just the part I want to play, is really helping to support whatever they need, making sure they have the information they need to make smart decisions, and just really get paid for the work they do. It's really simple.
So
Yeah,
what I
I can just
appreciate,
see.
sorry, Allison, I
No,
apologize.
you go. You go.
I just wanted to say, what I love about you is, number one, the doctors say the relationship with you is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like they always have support. They feel empowered. They know what's going on in their company, right?
Yep.
What I'm also so grateful for you is your willingness to teach and help others learn, right? Which I know is not your core business, right? Because you just you do it, but what I appreciate is, you always saying yes. So, yeah, I know we asked you, could you create a course, within Netflix? And you were like, of course, so I'm just curious of, like, you have the billing company, but why is helping on the educational side? Like, why did you create the course at Dentalflix? Like, why are you also, doing some coaching to help train?
Sure.
Why is that important to you?
Sure. Well, number one, everyone out there is not my customer, and I don't want to limit the information to just my customers. As you know, we only service Dentrix clients. I've been a Dentrix trainer for probably 20 years or so. That's my wheelhouse. I stay in my lane. However, there's bunches of offices out there that aren't Dentrix, who I can't service directly in an everyday capacity, and I don't want to limit the information to just my customers, right? So this is a way to just kind of spread the knowledge. Again, we have to partner. Everyone needs to we have to do better at sharing information, especially when we're dealing with a very, difficult adversary like the insurance companies. We don't have unity against them. That's part of why we're in this predicament we're in with them, is that there's so much, divisiveness. There's so much, we're fractured and splintered apart, and there's not, and dental and Delivering Wow and Dentalflix brings all that together. It brings everyone together to give us an opportunity to share. So I just kind of consider myself a part of the community, a part of you guys' community, and doing my part, right? It doesn't have to benefit me in any way. I mean, my thing is, an educated customer, as in any industry, an educated customer is my best customer. So the more the dental offices and the doctors know, the better they are for me to work with, the better they are for you to work with. It elevates everyone involved. It's a total win-win situation. And even on the back end, the patients are also going to win in that environment, right? Because now they're getting accurate treatment plans. They know in advance what's not covered. We're able to educate the patients from me educating them. So it all trickles down, everybody wins, and I'm a big fan of a win-win-win situation.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was really excited for this podcast because I just wanted to get to know you better because
Yeah.
I've heard so many amazing things about you. Like I've had people be like, "Oh, DeVon, she's amazing," and I get it.
Oh,
I totally get it. It takes 15 minutes. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you have
right.
such an abundance mindset,"
Yeah.
and that like giving mindset of like, I want more people to be educated. I want more people to be helped because this is really important. Like that's the key to success.
It
I
is.
really think that is the key to success is just like sitting in your service and being abundant with the knowledge that you have.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
can only imagine like I was an office manager and I lived in Bermuda and I was very alone in trying to figure out like the insurance and the billing. And I remember just feeling like, man, I wish I had somebody to talk to. And
Hmm.
I really didn't. We just had to kind of suffer through it on our own. So I'd love to hear like a story that you have of starting to work with a practice because I can imagine like
Hmm.
you get like some transformation in terms of like going through the going from the unknown to the known and just how much that really changes an office or a practice or a person.
Sure. I'll give you three quick stories. Can I do three quick? Because they're all kind of
Yes.
different, but then just to emphasize the, don't suffer in silence thing. That is, what I say at the end of every class I teach. So first one is, what are they, like 10, 12 years in now? They're in office in New York, and they came to me by way of another Dentrix trainer. At the time, they had just converted to Dentrix. They were coming from an old system. Manager slash wife was heading out for a month away in Thailand, and she's like, help, we just jumped in and kind of figured it out. But she said to me, Diana's been telling me to call you for a very long time, and I don't know. I think people get kind of fearful, and it's, pride and things of like that nature kick in. So anyhow, at that time, they were doing about 70,000 a month average in production, one doc, I believe. Well, we worked with them. We've been working with them side by side for, again, 10 or 12 years. Don't quote me on the time frame, but it's been a little bit. But they're definitely they almost hit $500,000 in production last month. And we were able to collect, our portion, about $300,000 last month for them. And we sit back sometimes and just laugh at like how crazy it was, in the beginning. And she's every month we review numbers. She says, I just never ever dreamed we would be here. Like when she's like, when you quote these numbers to me, it's crazy. Like, how did we get to this number? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not in there scheduling for y'all. I don't know what y'all have going on there, but it is just fun to see that where, this is your right now number, but there's really no limit to what your number could be in 5 years or 10 years. Right. And so lifelong clients, I'm sure. Another situation where it's like, don't suffer in silence, or, just ask someone to help. We had a client who came on board recently. She's still a client, and she was a new owner, purchased the practice, paid $68,000 for the AR in addition to this purchase price of the practice. Well, the AR was like $1 million, right? But there were open claims for 20 years. Open claims for 20 years. I don't remember the length of that insurance aging report. We couldn't even pull it at one time. It kept locking the system up. So we basically had to go in and like wipe their whole database clean, recreate the time from when they started the practice, when they purchased the practice, and when when we were able to do the conversion, and just completely recreate their entire receivables from when she purchased, because there's no way we're going to try to get cleaned up $1 million in AR going back 20 years, right? And now that's one of the things I want to start doing, is working with people before they purchase the practice so that they know what they're purchasing, because we've had to come in on the back end so often and clean up and fix and nip and tuck. And there's just so much revenue loss between the money they paid over and above what they should have and the money we can't collect because it's just too old and not uncollectible. I'm just like, oh, why didn't they ask someone before they did this? You know, why not just find out beforehand? Anyhow, so that was that story. We made it through. Most difficult account I've ever had. I remember on that call saying to her, tell me anything, you know, tell me, I always say, tell me everything, what's going on? And she's like, oh, I'm scared to tell you this. And I'm like, no, just tell me. There's nothing I've never seen before. And so turns out, hadn't quite seen that before, right? Another thing I wanted to bring up, we had another new owner. Matter of fact, she told me yesterday she's coming to the conference. She's probably going to be a new Delivering Wow customer. Purchased a practice. So you see the theme here, new owners, I'm starting to see the challenge, right? But purchase a practice. The day that the old owner told me that she was coming on board as the new owner is also the day that I identified that there was like major fraud going on the doctor's side. So I then had to, my first conversation with the new owner, right, was, are you sitting down? All of your records are flawed. This was like literally her first day of ownership. Thank God she was military
Oh,
dentist, right? And she was tough. But I'm like, I said, I feel terrible. I feel horrible to have to tell you that like a lot of your dates of service are incorrect and made up. There's all types of things happening. But I'm going to be here to guide you through the process up until also having to probably testify down in Georgia on behalf of that case. So anyhow, my point is, it's just really good to just ask, right? Like it can't hurt. Ask, say, hey, I got a question, like this doesn't look right, feel right. But to me, like the fun I get, and some of it's not fun, by the way, some of it's kind of heartbreaking, you know, because again, I'm a small business owner and I feel the pain that these people are going through, but it's rewarding. I guess that's the better word. It's rewarding to see me be able to help someone through what would have been a very difficult storm if they did not have a resource to get them through it, and someone that at least had some understanding of all of these speed bumps that were ahead so we can try to get them a little bit more flat, you know. So that's my why, right? The billing and the posting the payments and the submitting the claims and all that stuff. Yeah, okay. I mean, you know, it has to get done, but I really enjoy, you know, being able to just prevent a crazy fire without having to put it out later, or getting them, you know, way further ahead than they would be without help. Right. I just don't see that there's a need to just suffer in silence. If you need help, raise your hand and see who's there to help. And if I can't help, then I will find someone who will, right? Because I don't do everything. I definitely like to partner and make sure I'm aware of who all the good resources are out here. So you know, I learned a long time ago, you can't be all things to all people, but I got people for that, Dr. Holmes. So if it's something I don't specialize in or I don't really know, I'm still going to be the one to make sure I get you to that resource. That's just still, you know, and then I like to make sure I vet those resources to make sure they're going to get it done and that they are operating in the same spirit that we are here at DeTec. Make sure that they're going to take care of our customers, you know, the way that they should be taken care of.
Well, I can personally vouch for you. We have so many doctors that I've spoken to that use your service. So if you are using Dentrix and you need help, want to make things easier for yourself, I would definitely recommend contacting DeTec and letting them help you. And it's not just about the service.
Right.
What doctors always say is, you know, I was talking to DeVon the other day on a call, and I'm like, where does DeVon get all of this time? Like, she's just so available, or her team is available because they really care. And so to me, that's something that's very, very special. I'm also super grateful. You mentioned the Delivering Well conference that you'll be speaking on insurance at
Yes.
our Delivering Well event that's happening June 6th to 7th. Of course, Dr. Benjamin Hardy is going to be there. Allison's speaking as well on how to implement and execute clear aligners a lot faster so that you can help people and have them to feel happy and healthy longer. And so definitely would love to see you guys at that event. And of course, DeVon's got her insurance course and courses inside of DentalFlix. And so if you guys are looking for education, we'd love to be able to have you helped within DentalFlix. DeVon, I just want to thank you so much. One, for honestly just being the person that you are, like really being there to help doctors and team members. Personally, just thank you for always taking care of the clients that we have, always saying yes. Like anytime we have an event, and I think you've spoken at, I don't know if this is your third or fourth event, like DeVon's always like, yeah, sure, whatever you need me to do. Like, I'm like, can you build a course for DentalFlix? Sure, of course, whatever you need.
Yep.
Right. And
More to
so,
come.
yeah, I really appreciate you for just being there to support me personally. And I just want to thank you for being here, being a part of DentalFlix. And again, for those who are looking for help, I recommend everybody. Like, who do you want to talk to? Oh, no, you need to talk to DeTec, right? So
Sure.
how do people find out more about you and how you're helping? Is it DeTec.com or
it's
how does
DeTec? Yep, it's DeTec BC billing claim. So DeTecBC.com, at DeTec BC on all the social medias. And they can reach me at 1-800-679-1140. And one of my wonderful team members will get them to me quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I love it. I am so happy that I know you. I'm like literally preparing an email to send an intro to a client right now because I'm like, this is who she needs to talk to.
Yeah.
And I think I love your energy. I think oftentimes like money, billing, like all of these things can bring up like shame, fear, a lot of emotion. And I can imagine somebody getting on a call with you and just feeling peace and joy. And
I have a lot of tearful, we have a lot of tearful phone calls, right? And it's like, because most of the time, by the time they get to me, it's bad, right? Marriage is on the rocks as a result, payroll may not get met this month, rent 2-3 months overdue. So yeah, it's bad. I have a lot of tearful discovery sessions. And so I'm just like rubbing the back virtually. It's going to be okay, because, I got to make sure that their head's on straight, because we're about to have to do some serious stuff here. So, right. Like, so it's like, Alicia, my assistant, always says, in your next life, you should probably be a psychologist. Because I do have to do a lot of that. I'm sure you too, Dr. Holmes, where we're like having to really like get people through some rough times, And I do get that, random, hey, I just randomly wanted to outsource my billing. But most of my calls are like, people are in a bad spot, and we got to jump in quick and get it under control and try to save as much as possible. So, I do what I can. But I really just want to say thank you to both of you. Dr. Holmes, thank you for just even bringing me into this crew, man. You have really built something really special here. It's a movement. Like, that's how I feel. It feels like a movement of sorts, where we're like taking back control over things, right? No longer being allowed to be led around by the insurance companies, by the patients to some degree. And we're just, empowering people to build their businesses and build them well and be premium in all areas of their business. So thank you for including me in that. It's been life-changing, honestly. And it's life-changing for me, but I do feel that I've been able to change other lives. And that's just something I don't know, man. If you guys out there have never had that opportunity, that's just crazy to change a life, make an impact, like truly make an impact. And so I lead with that more than anything now, because that's where I get my feel good from. But again, thank you for, that one conversation on Smiles at Sea Cruise, where we just like, I was like, is she talking to me? And man, you've really gotten together a good crew here, and all the coaches. And I'm just really privileged to be amongst them, and you, Allison, and your entire team. It's just a phenomenal team. And so thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in today. We'll see you soon on the next episode of DentalFlix Uncut. You've just unlocked valuable insights with DentalFlix Uncut, but there's more. DentalFlix is not just a podcast. It's a thriving community, a hub of knowledge, and the #1 online streaming CE platform in dentistry. With just a few clicks, you can start exploring a wealth of resources, including in-depth training on leadership, case acceptance, scheduling, hiring. weekly marketing calls, insightful gap assessments, and scorecards, all designed to help you master what you discovered today and propel you further on your path to dental excellence. Head to dentalflix.com to get started for free and embark on your journey towards mastery. Thanks for tuning in to Dental Flix Uncut. See you next time.